Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So in the year 2024, we have seen countless examples on a near daily basis where members of gaming studios go on unhinged rants on social media that ultimately reflect negatively on the studio they work for and also on the game that they helped create. And today is no different. We're going to be talking about the horror game Mouthwashing that is very popular, very well received, released only a few months ago, where one of the people who helped create this game has gone on an unhinged, anti-woke, hating rant on social media, claiming that people who criticize wokeism in the gaming industry are homophobes, and even specifically addresses this towards people like Asmongold, who he also wishes would not be welcome in any community surrounding this game. Now, where did this drama start? Well, it actually began with a pretty popular Japanese artist here who has over 500k on Twitter. They made this art featuring the character Anya from this game. Now, this is good art, and you might be asking yourself, why are there thousands of quotes, mostly in English, about this post? Well, a lot of people were having a meltdown over the way that this character was drawn, including hundreds of death threats addressed to this author. And let's just see a couple of examples. So this user provides this person saying, "Die a slow and painful death" to the artist. This person saying, "I will effing kill you." Another person saying, "Pull the trigger." You get the point. And there's also a lot of virtue signaling in the quotes. This one is very representative of other similar opinions, and this one has 10,000 likes, just so you know. Let me read this. In quotes, "This isn't weird, it's just a drawing," end quote. "Everything you draw reflects you as a person, whether it be your humor or morals or your interest or something. That's why people don't effing like it. Fiction is based on reality and can affect reality the same way reality affects fiction." Now, before we address this absolute mess of a tweet, why are people so angry? Well, the reason the overwhelming majority of people are attacking this artist is because they believe it's justified because this character was essayed at one point during the game. Now, addressing that point, I find it very weird and incredibly infantilizing to say that once a person is abused in any sort of a way, they can no longer be sexualized or express themselves sexually for the remainder of their life. That's a very weird point if you're making it about a real person. It's even weirder when you're making it about a fictional character. Now, this post with 10,000 likes, like I said, runs on the premise of fictional content you consume can affect your reality. That is not just a bad take, that is a diagnosably bad take. This is why we need to reopen mental asylums, because opinions like this are becoming increasingly popular. This sort of fiction affecting reality take was something we saw in the 90s with soccer moms who were trying to get violent video games banned because they believed if their kids played these violent video games, they would turn into violent people themselves in real life. We saw this whole crusade championed by Jack Thompson for many years, where he tried to get Grand Theft Auto banned for very similar reasons. Ultimately, all of those campaigns failed because they had no evidence to support that normal people would succumb to this claim right here, and that sort of opinion of fiction affecting reality was mocked for decades. Until recently, where somehow, especially among young people on social media, this opinion of fiction affecting reality is becoming increasingly popular and supported with absolutely no evidence whatsoever. I'll make this very blunt. This is a totally normal opinion. Like, if you disagree with this, you're just wrong. If consuming fictional content affects you in real life, especially in terms of your violent behaviors and things like that, you are mentally ill. And even hotter take, that'll probably send a lot of these angry people on Twitter into a coma. We should not cater artwork and media generally to the concerns of mentally unstable people. That's just a fact. And people like this are trying to justify attacking people because of this entire unsupported belief about fiction affecting reality. And if you want one more anecdote before we move on from this post, a lot of these people who say fiction affects reality, they consume a lot of media, characters and shows and alike, that express good morals and about, they teach you about treating people well and having empathy and tolerance and all those things. But in reality themselves, they're very intolerant and aggressive people who do not support any of those morals they consume in fiction. It's proof that fiction for them does not affect their reality. Otherwise, they wouldn't be sending death threats to artists for having the nerve to draw a character that they don't approve of. But anyways, we would get kind of the bad ending here where the artist would apologize. And they would say this: "I apologize for making everyone feel uncomfortable. I was listening to a live video of this game while I was drawing, and the moment I saw Anya, I thought she was cute, so I drew her. I haven't watched everything thoroughly, so I don't know much about this character. Sorry, everyone." Now, to give them, some understanding here, like, clearly having thousands of people in English attacking you and saying you need to be game-ended and all these things, it's probably a very overwhelming experience. I'm not surprised someone would apologize like this, but as always, trying to apologize to the mob 99+% of the time only works to the benefit of the people attacking you, right? It gives them a feedback loop where they say, oh, if I attack this person or artist generally, I can get them to succumb to my whim. I can make them do what I want by harassing them enough. And it's just not a very good thing. But things would take a turn when this account called Wrong Organ, who is a developer who worked on Mouthwashing, they would come on to Twitter and make a post related to the situation saying, some MW fan creators have been receiving harassment over works that others have found distasteful. If you see fan works that you don't like, block/ignore. Any form of harassment is unacceptable. If you can't be respectful and considerate, this fandom is not the place for you. Incredibly based developer right here saying, I don't know, the completely rational thing in a situation like this. If you don't like the way fictional art is being portrayed, just block it and ignore it. That doesn't justify going out and harassing and attacking people. It's just ridiculous. This is a very normal opinion. This should be the status quo for pretty much any fandom across the internet. Now, things would get interesting when Asmongold would make a video talking about the situation. I mean, you can watch the video for yourself, but there's nothing crazy going on in this video. He obviously disapproves of the bizarre harassment going on here and thinks this whole thing is insane. But enter the latest person in today's saga, Martin, a he/him audio and music person who works at Wrong Organ. They worked on Mouthwashing. So this person has 5,000 followers. They are now in protected mode on Twitter. Why is that? Well, they made a series of posts here saying, the anti-woke crowd has found the game and I feel sick to my effing stomach. Being on Twitter is going to be unbelievably painful from now on that I don't know if I can be active on here. I don't have the energy for this. Referring to Asmongold simply defending this artist who is being harassed, and also he expressed interest in possibly playing the game as well. So first of all, if you're feeling so unwell that someone you don't like is playing your game, that you have to take a break from social media and you're feeling physically ill, I think it's time for a break and possibly a therapist. On top of that, this whole idea of attacking people and trying to gatekeep who's allowed in your community or who's allowed to play your game is a massively bad decision for someone like this or anyone in the gaming industry generally, especially when they're going after Asmongold, who has as much influence as he does. But on top of that, he would make more posts clarifying what he means by anti-woke, where this person says, referring to Asmongold, he seemed interested in the game and he said he'd play it after hearing about the controversy. So I'd say the more people experiencing your art, the better, even if you don't like them. Completely rational point. Where Martin replies by saying, anti-woke means anti-gay, means anti-me as a dev. I've seen that dance many times before. I do not want him playing it regardless of exposure because it's making me feel like absolute shit. And then this person says it doesn't mean that though, yada, yada, yada. So this person is claiming that anyone who criticizes wokeism generally is anti-gay. So you're essentially claiming that Asmongold and any other person who criticizes wokeism is homophobic. That is a pretty bold claim, and some would consider that slander, especially since it's very clearly directed towards Asmongold in this situation. And again, just more gatekeeping because you don't like the person playing the game. You would rather less people be aware of your game because you don't like the person sharing it? That's insane. But they would continue on also attacking Kern. So this week in particular, Asmongold has somehow played a role in pretty much every topic we've covered. But another person who's had the same thing is Mark Kern, aka Grums, the former team lead at the OG World of Warcraft. They made a tweet talking about Grums about a week ago, saying Grums has no effing seat at the table, a failed dev and a failed grifter, forever a loser, referring to the fact that Mark Kern wanted to basically support this game after seeing the artist being harassed. What a nice person, having an unhinged, jealous meltdown of someone who had a very successful career in the industry and continues to be a valuable member of the industry, getting called a failed dev and a failed grifter and a loser by this person who's having panic attacks on social media because Asmongold dared to support their game. And of course, this person would go off of Twitter and they would switch over to where else but Blue Sky, the echo chamber, ladies and gentlemen, for all of the woke people. And they would say this, taking a mini break from socials because the last few days have been draining. I just don't know how to handle this kind of stuff. Oh, woe is me. Professional victim behavior right here. So basically this person makes a bunch of unhinged remarks attacking and potentially slandering large content creators as well as many potential customers of this game. And then after making those public statements, gets public criticism and is now saying, woe is me. You know, you basically get what you deserve. If you want to share these sorts of opinions and be edgy online and attack people who want to support your game, by the way, then you reap what you sow. You're going to have to deal with the consequences of this. And, you know, nobody's going to feel sorry for you in the process. But overall, I mean, this seems like a great game. And this is something that is a unfortunate blemish. I mean, it doesn't reflect negatively on the game itself, but it creates a bad reputation surrounding the people who created it because of the actions of one person. That's really all it takes. And if you think that's unfair, well, that's just the reality. People don't want to support games when the people creating it hate them. Why would you want to support a game where the developer or someone who worked on it makes it clear that you're not welcome there and that you are some sort of a bad thing or a bad person because of some unhinged beliefs they have internally that they're projecting upon you? But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.